There's a Netflix special of Kevin Hart, who's a very famous comedian, getting roasted. And Ryan and I started to watch it last night. We got about halfway through before my husband started to fall asleep. We've had a busy couple weeks with charters. And what is really fascinating when you watch people get roasted, and I don't know if you're someone who follows comedians, I have such a deep respect for comedians. I was a waitress at Zany's in downtown Chicago way back in the 90s as a night job in addition to my corporate job. So I have a very deep respect for being a comedian, a stand-up. And so when I was watching this, they kept making references during the roasting to Eddie Murphy not being there. And it's comical. And what is fascinating is if you are just a normal human, your mind goes to, well, why isn't Eddie Murphy there? Is Kevin Hart not good enough for Eddie Murphy to come, or any of the other really famous comedians like Dave Chappelle or any of the other ones? And what's fascinating is we put people on pedestals. We put people on pedestals. We actually put all sorts of things on pedestals. Money, other material objects. We even put God and Jesus on a pedestal. We're taught, the majority of us, from a very early age that like God is in the sky. Jesus is in the sky. We pray to God, right? So we're basically been taught and wired that there's something up there that we have put on a pedestal that is outside of ourselves. But when someone is really, really successful, they know better. So Kevin Hart likely understands that Eddie Murphy's probably a pretty busy guy, right? I'm sure you would agree. Or just likes to hang out by himself. If you've watched his documentary, it's amazing. And he can't possibly go to like every single event. And maybe he doesn't even really want to. I have a really close friend who worked for someone for several years who was the daughter of someone really, really, really famous. And she's a big name herself, in my opinion, but her father is a household name. And I remember my friend telling me that her boss could not donate to every single person that called. She got called all the time for donations to charity, and she basically had to say no to everyone because it was just physically impossible for her to always be donating. It was just not something you shouldn't be doing anyways. That's a lot of boundaries. See? So Kevin likely knows that about Eddie Murphy and likely isn't offended because Kevin is focused on Kevin. Kevin is focused on Kevin and delivering the best Netflix special possible, which was hilarious. I laughed so many times. I thought it was great. So we do this to ourselves, right? What does this say about me? What does this say about me? Why didn't this person show up for me? What does this say about me? And it's such a powerful thing to start to look at and explore if you are having doubts like that. If you are judging someone else, like, well, why didn't that person show up for them? Start to contemplate that. Use your consciousness to work through that in a contemplation methodology versus a mind loop methodology, and you will go so much farther faster.